Well, Edmonton's only NDP member of Parliament is now running to lead the party. Heather McPherson represents Edmonton Strathcona, joining us now after making it official yesterday, this run for leadership. Let's begin with what motivated you to run?
You know, I think right now this is a really important moment for our party. You know, obviously the election in April wasn't what we had hoped for. And so we need to find a way to build back our movement, to build back our party. I think it's important for New Democrats, but it's also so important for Canadians, for democracy in this country. And I think this moment in time, we need to open it up. We need to have more people join our party. We need to have more people see themselves within the New Democratic Party.
You talked about viability in your announcement yesterday. Yeah. 7 seats in the House of Commons right now for the NDP. What is your vision for the future?
A lot more than 7 seats,
yeah.
To be honest. I mean, listen, we need more New Democratic MPs. I'm really proud of what we were able to achieve in the last Parliament. We were able to get dental care. That's helped millions of Canadians. We were able to get anti-scab legislation, that framework for pharmacare. And that's what happens when more New Democrats are elected. You know, when we elect more New Democrats, we push the government, we hold them to account. You know, we are able to make the Liberal government live up to the promises they make, because they're very good at making promises. They're very good on campaigning on NDP policies. They're just not delivering them. And certainly this Prime Minister has shown himself to be quite conservative.
So how do you take the reaction of Canadians in the last federal election down to 7 seats? How do you try to build this path forward? What solid things are you going to be campaigning on as you try to be the leader? You
know, first of all, I think we need to be meeting Canadians where they are. We need to be talking to Canadians across this country. I think in the past, we've perhaps had a bit of a purity test within our party where people were excluded from feeling welcome within the NDP party. That has to change. We need to set a bigger table. We need to welcome people in, and we need to be talking about things that are so important to Canadians right now. So for me, you know, a huge priority has to be on jobs and making sure that people can have jobs that have fair wages, that those wages actually keep up with the cost of living. That's vitally important, particularly for young people. And, you know, housing, the scale of the housing crisis in this country needs to be addressed, and we need to make sure that there are homes that people can actually afford to live in. Like, that's key. And then, of course, protecting those things that New Democrats are known for. You know, making sure that our healthcare system is strong. You know, making sure that it is expanding to include things like mental health care and the pharmacare program, and that the dental care program is protected. You know, all of those things are key priorities for Canadians, and that's where we need to be meeting them.
Now, former NDP leader Jagmeet Singh had said that pipelines are not a priority for Canadian energy independence. What do you say?
You know, right now, there is no pipeline on the table. There is no proponent for a pipeline, and there are so many exciting projects we could do to get Canadian workers working. So I think about an electrical grid. You know, we should have a grid across this country to share electricity between provinces. We should be investing in renewables. You know, there's so many interesting things we could be doing. Transit, you know, high-speed rail between communities. All of those things that get Canadian workers working with Canadian materials is so important right now. You know, what Donald Trump is doing with the tariffs and the impact that has on our economy, we've got to start building things in Canada with Canadian workers, and there's a way to do that builds a future economy, that builds an economy where, you know, Alberta workers, Canadian workers have jobs that are good, strong union jobs, and that is a future-facing economy as well.
Okay. Well, Heather McPherson now running to be the leader of the federal New Democrats. Thanks so much for joining us this morning.
Thanks so much. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate your time.